Okay, we're going to do a quick video here on installing the hardware on the bike for our new FXDXT retro bags. And this is for the 2006 and newer models. I've got an older bike here just to kind of show you what you need to do. So everything's not going to be exactly the same, but we'll walk you through it quick. First thing is the turn signals have to be relocated off the strut, regardless of what bike you have, whether it's an older wide glide or excuse me, not an older wide glide, a what is it, 2006 or 2009 wide glide, or a fat bob that's got the bobtail fender. Those they have to come off of the strut. Harley's got some relocation kits. Otherwise, GreatBikeGear.com has got some kits. That's a good source for relocation kits. Okay, now when you relocate the turn signals on the newer bikes, the setup is a little bit different than the old strut here. There's an indent in here, an indented area, and there's a big hole here that the wires ran through. This is where the turn signal stem used to be, right here. And Harley makes a nice little chrome recess cover to cover that. Okay, and so you would need to have this part here if you don't have it. And the other thing is that 2006 is when they started using a nut plate back behind, so you don't have to get a wrench back in here, and then the clearance is a lot better too, make room for that 200 tire. Now the stock nut plate looks something like this. It's got threaded tubes on it, but on the stock one, the rear one is not threaded. It's just got a 5/16 inch hole in it for the bolt that comes through from the back side to hold on the turn signal. That needs to be threaded. Now if you want to, you can just tap threads in your existing one, or if you buy a docking hardware kit for a detachable sissy bar, this one is part number 53961-06. You're going to get two new nut plates that have both of the tubes are threaded, and you will also get two of these. So you need these parts for sure if you don't already have them. Now the other thing that's going to come in that kit is your docking points if you want a detachable sissy bar. If you want one, that's fine. If not, it's cheaper to buy the kit than it is to buy these four parts individually. Okay, so when you first get our hardware kit, it's going to come in a bag, and there's going to be a lot of extra parts in there, and some of them are for the older bikes and stuff, but there'll be four assemblies that are kind of like this, and all these are is a 2 1/4 inch bolt, our stainless steel docking sleeve, and then a 1/4 inch chrome spacer, and then a locking jam nut. There's four of these assemblies on here. This, and it's on a 2 1/4 inch bolt. This is set up for the older bikes. Okay, because of the way the strut was changed, we can't use a 1/4 inch spacer here. We have to use a 1/2 inch spacer and a little bit longer, or excuse me, the same length of bolt, because now we have the nut plate back there. We don't have the nut sticking back in past the fender. So we take off that 1/4 inch chrome spacer, and in your hardware kit there's going to be four of these 1/2 inch chrome spacers. So you just put that on there and put that right in there. Now that's what we've got here. It's going to look different on the newer strut because it's kind of got more of a taper to it and stuff, but that's what your setup will be like if you're going to run without a sissy bar or with a bolt-on sissy bar. Now if you've got a detachable sissy bar, there's an extra bag of bolts in the hardware kit that says 2 1/2 inch bolts. Okay, so what you're going to do, right, is take this assembly, and you're going to need this stainless steel sleeve that's our docking point, and then you're going to need a little bit longer bolt. So you get the 2 1/2 inch bolts, put our sleeve on there, and then you put on Harley's docking point, and then put that assembly in there. Oh, excuse me, you're also going to have their little chrome recess cover in there, like similar to that. So that's going to be your setup on the rear. The front is the same, except you're just going to use the 3 inch bolt, or the 2 1/2 inch bolt, our stainless steel docking point, and then Harley's front docking point instead of this 1/2 inch spacer right here and then you're good to go. So you just want to make sure you put a little bit of Loctite on the bolts, you know, right down here as you put them in there, and then just tighten them down tight, and you're good to go. If you do just one bolt at a time, then your fender won't shift on you, and then as soon as you get one side done, you can do the other, and then you're good to go. Make sure you watch the next video on how to adjust the bracket on the saddlebags.